Hey YouTube, Enosh here, and over the weekend there's been some interesting stories that have come out about the DCEU. And so there's been about 4 or 5 stories, so we're going to tackle those in this video. Here we go. So this first bit of news could actually turn out to be really cool for the DCEU if it's true. And that is that George Miller is in the running to direct a Green Lantern Corps movie. How cool would that be? We've known that the Green Lantern Corps movie is coming, and to have George Miller attached to it kind of blows my mind, and I really hope that that happens, because if you know the DC universe and the DC movies, you'll know that George Miller was actually he was going to direct a Justice League movie just a few years ago. It was called Justice League Mortal. Everybody was cast, and it fell through literally a week before production, and that was because largely due to the writer's strike, and then also after that we got Superman Returns and Batman Begins. Now, here's the deal. George Miller has proven himself time and time again, and just a few months ago there was talk about him possibly being connected to a Man of Steel 2 movie, which that didn't happen and hasn't come about yet and has never been announced. So to have him in the running to be the leader of the Green Lantern Corps movie, I think would be awesome. Now they're saying that this is going to be kind of like a buddy cop movie, and that we'll actually get 3 Green Lanterns in this movie. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and possibly Guy Gardner, not Kyle like we might be thinking. And I kind of like that idea to put Guy Gardner in there. I mean, he's kind of the rogue, he's the hothead who come in and give Hal a hard time and give John Stewart a hard time. You know, I'll always be partial to Hal because Hal is the Green Lantern that I grew up with, but I totally understand the appeal of John Stewart, and that many people like John Stewart. And this way I think we would get the best of all worlds to have all those characters in this. And if the DCEU is kind of going where we think it might go with Darkseid and some of that stuff happening, this would be awesome. So my question for you is, who would you like to see play Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and of course John Stewart, Green Lantern, or Guy Gardner, Green Lantern? We're obviously not going to get Ryan Reynolds back, just because of how that movie turned out. And so this is a reboot. This is going to be a new thing entirely. So who would you like to see in those roles? And would you like to see a George Miller directed Green Lantern Corps movie? Let me know. Let's move to our next story. All right, so our second story and third story, well, they could be a good thing or they could be a bad thing depending upon how you look at it. For those of us who are fans of The Flash, we had hoped that one day after seeing Grant Gustin's performance as The Flash on the small screen, that maybe they would just catapult him to the large screen and we'd see him in the DCEU. That's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Ezra Miller is our Flash for the DCEU, and he's already appeared in Batman vs. Superman. That being said, Seth Smith, who was supposed to direct the Flash movie upcoming, has now pulled out, citing creative differences with Warner Brothers and DC. So the question has to be asked, well, is this a good thing or a bad thing? And there's really no way to tell, because it could have been that, well, Seth had these crazy ideas for The Flash that just were not going to work and Warner Brothers wouldn't let him do it. Or, given Warner Brothers' track record, it could be that Seth really wanted to go all in and do some really great things with the character, and Warner Brothers and DC kind of pulled the reins back and didn't want to go full in on the character or for that movie. And given Warner Brothers' track record, they have a track record over the last few years of not wanting to give everything to their properties, and for some reason holding back. I just don't understand it. I'm a big DC guy. I love DC. I watch the Marvel movies, but I'm always rooting for DC because I'm a big Superman fan, tried and true, and now I love the Flash television series. My son's favorite character is the Flash, even though his middle name is Jor-El, and I'm just a big Superman fan, and I just always root for DC to do well. But the scary thing is not only has he left, but now we're hearing reports that James Wan, who was supposed to direct Aquaman, is now kind of having second thoughts about whether or not he should do that movie. Now, this could all be just some reaction maybe to Batman vs. Superman and the critical reviews that came out about that movie, or this could be legitimate concerns with the studio. You have to always ask yourself, what's going on here and who's in charge? And sometimes you just never know. So my question to you is now that the position is open, who would you like to see direct a Flash movie. Who would you like to see take the reins over on that and do something with it? Now, I will say this. They're keeping the script that was actually written by Smith and Lord and Miller. So, because originally Lord and Miller were supposed to be directing this movie, but they backed out, of course, to do the Han Solo movie. No pun intended there, but it happened. Anyway, so they pulled out to do that movie, and so now we just have to see who they're going to get next. But I guess they're keeping the script, so what will happen? What will come of this? What do you think? Leave your comments in the comments section. And now for our last story. So we're going to sandwich our stories today with probably a good one on the end. We started off with the George Miller news and then kind of had some iffy, bad, kind of good news. Now, to finish it off, here we go. Ben Affleck, it is said, has been given complete control of the upcoming Batman movie. That he doesn't really have to answer to anybody. That Zack Snyder will not be overseeing him on this. He'll probably get a producer credit or something on it. But that Ben Affleck has been given the go. That this is his movie. He can do whatever he wants. He can take it in whatever direction that he wants. And I kind of like that idea. I mean, just give it to the guy. Let the guy run with it and do something really great with it. I loved Batman in this movie. I know that that's kind of a controversial statement for some people because some people didn't like the portrayal of Batman in this movie. But I tell you, Ben Affleck has become my favorite Batman. I don't know about you. I don't know what you think. But he has become my favorite. And I also like the ideas that have also come out this weekend about the Batman movie and what it may center on. It may be one of these deals where the villains all capture Batman and we see backstories and cameos from literally everyone in Batman's rogue gallery. How mind-blowing is that? Can you imagine seeing every Batman villain on screen in one movie? Now, some will probably just be small cameos, but basically going through and these people coming forward to antagonize Batman and give Batman a hard time for the things that he has done and for the ways that he has put them away and stopped their evil plans over the years. So we're going to get more of this old, just kind of, grungy Batman and his villains. So I love this idea. I think it'd be really great. Now, I was kind of hoping for the Red Hood, the Under the Red Hood storyline, which we may still see. Who knows? But this idea of Ben Affleck being able to take control, I think is just great. And I think it's a great direction for the character. And I think it's a great direction for the DCEU. I think these other directors need to be able to come in and, yes, they have a continuity that they have to follow. But, Marvel has done this really well by having different directors come in, give their own take while staying within a larger story. And I know for a lot of people, they're concerned about Zack Snyder. I thought Zack Snyder did a great job. But, given the concerns, I think that they need to broaden their views a little bit. What do you think? What do you think of these 4 stories and their potential, their impact on the DCEU? I would love to hear what you think, so leave it in the comment section below. And until next time, I'm Enosh. Bye-bye.